Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 2014 ABC Christmas party. It's a special occasion for the 40th anniversary of Countdown, but also what makes it even more special is that Ian Molly Melvin's here to celebrate it with us. And the very special thing is, everybody in this room has a part of Ian somewhere in either working for him or around him, in various parts of his support in stage and television production. And we thank him for coming, which is fantastic, Ian. We appreciate that. It's a record crowd today. Actually, we had to beat people off, not so much beat them off, but we actually had more people wanting to come today than we could fit in the room, so which is a fantastic thing. Over 185, I think, today, which is a record for the union lunch. 150 now. Oh, it's a lot. We're full. So those who are waiting in the wings will not have to wait another year. Our special guest as well is the State Director for Victoria, Randall Matheson, who's going to have a few short words, and then we've got some other speakers for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham, and good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. I will be brief because I'm sure you all want to hear some countdown stories from years gone by. But it has been, of course, a very interesting year for the ABC, and I'm sure you've kept up to date with all the machinations that have been going on in the daily papers. We heard from the government in May that there would be a 1% efficiency dividend for the ABC, and that would be a down payment on, and we've had to wait until the last couple of weeks to figure out what that was. So challenging times for us. There will be a few people going out the door in the coming weeks and months, and at this stage it looks like about 400 staff, give or take, which is about 10% of the workforce. But as I've said to some of you tonight, or this afternoon anyway, it swings and roundabouts, and we'll move on and be onwards and upwards and all that sort of thing. I think the last time I spoke to you, I was also talking to you about the new building project at Southbank, and we were slightly concerned that might be affected, but it's not. They've actually poured the slab next door to the existing building in Southbank, so it's full steam ahead. So the studios at Elstonwich, which many of you worked in for many years, will eventually be closing down, but I think we've still got about 2 or 3 years of life left in the old girl yet, so that's good news. And just on that, we did have about 150 radio listeners out there a couple of weeks ago to see a special preview of the Countdown special that ran on ABC TV, and it was great to get back into Studio 31 and see some of the old sets. There's not much of the old Countdown set that remains, but the old piano is still there, and there's a few signs, and we had some 40 and 50 and 60-somethings tapping their feet and singing along. It was a fantastic night, and it's great that Molly and Michael and the team are here today, so looking forward to hearing some more stories. Look, that's about it from me. I've got to head off in a short while to another Christmas party, which is actually out in Studio 31, and I saw Dave Barker. Yes, Dave Barker is here. I'm sure Dave can tell you about some of the great old Christmas parties at ABC. Dave, today the party starts at 2 o'clock and it finishes at 6 o'clock, so it's very civilised hours. I'm not sure why they're doing that. It just might be to keep people a little bit neat and tidy. So, with that, the ABC will survive. It will be onwards and upwards. Can I take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a safe and prosperous festive season. And I think it's wonderful, and congratulations to Carol and Ken and Alan and everyone involved that we're all here. It shows a real sense of family and a real sense of spirit towards the ABC, and may it continue. And I think we've got 156 this year, and we might have to get a bigger room next year. It's fantastic. So well done to everyone for continuing the family, and have a great Christmas and festive season. See you soon.
Thank you, Rand. We have a very special guest as well here, Michael Shrimpton, which would be well known to most of you here. Executive producer of Countdown. It's a thrill. I was a Channel 7 boy, and then I switched fences as much younger, and your name has always been around in the industry.
Tell me that.
One way or another. All for the good, absolutely, all for the good. But when I was on the commercial side of things, and everyone knew about this director of Countdown at the ABC, and it's a delight. And I'd like to say a few words if you wouldn't mind.
What are all these people doing in my room? Personally, I think I have an apology to make to anybody in the ABC Social Club who did not work in television. We brought it your lunch. I'm sorry about that, there are so many of us. But it's quite an occasion for those of us who are here who went through it all. I would like to thank the manager for his comments, and I wonder whether he would remember some of his illustrious predecessors.
There's a few.
I certainly do. I tried to check them out on Google, they're not there. But my two favourites were Rory Sutton and Robbie Weeks. There was another one though, who was the manager for Victoria, not so much television, when Countdown first started. And this little prick's name was Titch White. It's remarkable how their deeds live on to haunt, isn't it?
Who's here tonight?
Yeah, who's here tonight? I was worried about he may have any relatives here. I had to drop after this. I wanted to tell you a story about the time when we transferred colour. And there was a man here who was instrumental in helping us do this, Bob Forster. Stand up, Bob. I was in a control room at 31 with Robbie and the crowd when the Grass Valley mixer had just been put in and the new lighting rig was in. And it was one of the trial days, we weren't doing a show. And suddenly, there was this, it wasn't an explosion, but it was just a vroom noise. Every lantern on the floor went to 100% in a nanosecond, and it was like an atomic flash. And then everyone on the desk put their hand in the air. Not me. And in the back, here's Ian Batsby saying, "Tar baby, he's saying nothing." And there's a voice from the darkened control room, Mr. Forster, saying, "Well, that brought you along to its knees." The transfer to colour was an experience that you had to enjoy at the management level. And I use the word enjoy rather loosely. The PAL system, which we were fortunate enough to have instead of the NTSC system, which is in very colour.
Never twice the same.
No, exactly. And they sent over this pile, a busload of crowds to introduce us to this new system. And they all said they'd been dressed by Reuben Scarf. They're an extraordinary lot of people. And I remember there was a party thrown by the illustrious Titch in the up in the ABC offices in William Street at the time. I was dragged along by the publicity people, and there would have been a dozen of us in the room. And Titch, you need to know his history. He was one of a group of probably 8 or 10 the ABC inherited from the end of the Second World War. They were relatively high-flying Army, Navy and Air Force people who the government felt they had to find a place for, so they periwinkled them into taxation, public offices, ABC, and they knew nothing about broadcasting, but they got the job. And he was in there, Titch. And I had another one up in Graham Chisholm in Perth. He was worse, but we won't bother you with that. But Titch was parading around his little den there. He'd had the bottle was opened a tad earlier than most others, as was his wont. And he had a history with the RAF. He was a very, very effective rear gunner in the Lancaster bombers during the Second World War. And he was entertaining these gentlemen to a drink and thanking them for their efforts. And he was called upon to say a few words. And he's this huge man sitting next to him who had to pick the tallest one And he said, "Where are you from?" The man said, "Dresden." And it was as if there was a chorus, and Titch became backlit, a little tiny vision spot. And he actually said, "Ah, yes, you have very clear nights in Dresden."
It's true. Absolutely. It is true.
I'm not going to take up much of your time, but we have a few people who want to say a few words, so I'm going to take a moment to reflect upon what the arrival of Countdown did to a fairly staid ABC. Ripponlea was probably the less staid area of the organisation, but it nonetheless was was ripped up by the people that this man, Mr. Melbourne, brought with him. And I have two favourite moments that I recall from the very early days. Ian had friends who never had surnames. They were always called Faye and them. And on this occasion, Delia, it was a bloke. And on this occasion we had Lenny the lesbian. Now, Lenny was one of my personal favourites. She was a stylish broad, this one. She was about 6 foot, beautiful fuzzy curly auburn hair, neck to toe black army great jacket. And she'd whirl in through the foyer with a large bottle of Black Label Johnny Walker in one pocket and a live albino rabbit in the other. And upon request, she'd drop her drawers and show you her tattoo, which was not on her ass.
Certainly beat the pussy.
There was an extraordinary occasion that occurred during the visit of Malcolm Fraser, the then Prime Minister, to Ripponlea to record what was in the old days called an election talk. Nostalgia, we all remember election talks. He comes with, of course, the Federal Police, a busload of them. And it just so happened that day was the Bay City Rollers. And panic doesn't describe it. It was total chaos. And I was in the VIP room, which was my one, with a couple of journos, and we had Ted Murray gang was on the show. Ted was a particular favourite of the directors and the whole crew, and was always up for a lark. Little did I know what kind of a lark it was on this occasion, but I am in the room with a few people, and Melton comes bursting in the door saying, "It's a panic. Ted's not going on. He's just furious. You've got to come and see him quick. He's just come." So I ran out into the corridor, and I thought, my God, there's a haze of blue smoke. Like the length of the corridor. That's all I needed with the Federal Police in my back. So I fled down to Mallory's dressing room, and he was beckoning me in the door, and there was this extraordinary sight. Now, there was well, she was a groupie, a friend of the band's, who was known as the Lithgow Leaper. And when I came into the room, she was also favoured black head to toe. She was down on her haunches, facing the band who were at the back and who were actually out of their minds with hilarity. And so I'm saying, what's the problem? What's going on? Whereupon the lovely lass turned and revealed that she was actually using a Coca-Cola bottle in a way that Coca-Cola Bottles Association had never planned. A family bottle. She then proceeded to wave at me. That was the end of that afternoon as far as I was concerned. I would like to hand over at the moment to Robbie. Robbie was my mate who we went through the earlier stages of this gig. And it was Robbie's style that actually put the whole look on Countdown. Ella, before I get there, I would also like to, just applauding there at the moment, I notice we have a sort of designers group here. We have Countdown's first designer, Paul Cleveland. And the wonderful Des White. Des was responsible for that logo look of the light sign. That was all his own work, which, what a shame, wasn't used in the recent 2-hour version. Nevertheless, Cleveland was responsible for introducing us to Mylar, his nearest subject. God damn it, 18 months ahead of New York. And we were, but they poured light into it and you couldn't see a thing. I'm wondering, is Peter Simonson in the room?
He is, I'm sure his name.
Simo was the one who solved the Mylar problem. I was on the floor at the time, and there was genuine concern because they poured some light into this thing, and they would just sit there and wouldn't do anything. And suddenly, Simo had the clue. He pulled the black drapes back, revealed the white side behind it, the light hit it, and the whole place lit up like a balloon. It was fantastic. And these were the people who helped Robbie and I put this thing together. Here's Robbie Wicks.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I had the privilege and pleasure of working with Michael in the creation of Countdown, and also including Ian Meldrum, because neither Michael or I ever wanted to go out into the dingy, dark clubs and look for bands, which was Meldrum's home. So we created a little trifecta there. You mightn't have noticed that if you'd seen the recent specials on television, but it was that. What I can tell you is that...
No, it's called a bifecta.
Bifecta. And not much of the bi in his case. Michael has paid tribute to a number of people who contributed to the program, and the reason it's been lauded so much is because it was such an un-Australian, an un-ABC type of program. It was when I went to Ripponlea after being retrenched at Channel O, which I did. I've been working on Magic Circle clubs and Showcase and things. The ABC at Ripponlea really was news, current affairs and drama. Christopher Muir was the drama director. Also we had Oscar Whitbread, and these people were like gods. And if you had to even sort of nod as you walked past them in the corridor. So for us to start a rock and roll show at 6 o'clock on a Sunday night was unheard of. But we did because we knew there was a market for it. It was a market the ABC never had. We had them at Play School. We didn't get them again until maybe children's drama, perhaps. Generally not. So we lost them, so we had to get them. And we got them because we took a chance. And there are a couple of management people that gave us that chance and supported us. There are other people who said it'll never work. And they're not here today, which is good. But what we decided to do is something very, very different for the ABC. It was a teenage show for 15-year-old girls. That's what it was. And we did that, but we knew that we might be given by the engineering people, people who are not particularly good at their craft and learning it, which is an appropriate thing to do. But we said we needed the best people at the ABC to make it shine, to make it glow, to make it something that the ABC had not been, particularly when colour television was about to be launched to us. The ABC had to make a statement in television, and it made the statement when we got the very good people, as Michael indicated, the Bob Forsters, the Clive Sells, we got the designers, Paul Cleveland, Des White, people that, you know, you wouldn't really talk to unless you had to. And then their contribution was immense. I proved my point by saying that the set of Countdown, and you'll see it up there, all the shiny stuff. I didn't know what to do, but I knew we needed to have something like a, I don't know, an aluminium sort of look, something that we can maybe bounce a light into. And Paul Cleveland, this small person with a hat, the light, they came to me and he said, "Ratty." I said, "Yes." He said, "There it is." And I looked at it, and it was a swatch. And I said, "What is it?" He said, "It's called Mylar." I said, "Is it new?" He said, 18 months in front of New York. As Michael said. And guess what? I said, "Put it on every set." And he did. And we walked in and went, "Jesus," we had to put the sunglasses on. And if it hadn't been for Bobby Forster and Peter Simo and a few of the boys, Bucky Rogers, all good boys, we would never have got it off the ground, but we did. We had great cameramen, we had great sound people. We've got, there's a boy here, Chrissy Noble, come all the way, fantastic, come on. Chris Noble was head of drama for Channel 9, but his best days were when he was a cameraman, and he was fantastic. He's only short. He's only short, so we thought, we can't take Margosi off the crane to put him on. So he was always good in pedestal cameras for our low angle shots. Because he couldn't reach it up any further. In fact, his wife says he still can't get it up. It's another story. But there we are. So these were the people, your ABC people, that took a chance, management took a chance, and 40 years later, we reflect, we remember, but we never ever just dismissively say it wasn't so. Thank you very much.
If I could just go back to it, there's something I forgot to do before. That the people in this room, the television people in this room, are part of the final group of people who were ever involved in what was a full-service broadcaster. Everything we did, we made. We made our sets, our wardrobe. I had a 36-piece orchestra for 22 hours a week for nothing. For nothing? That's what I was told. That era has totally gone. But you, in this room today, and a subset of you who were that astonishing Studio 31 crew, owe it to yourself to give yourself a huge round of applause.
It's an honour being here. It's not my pants, sorry. That's my trade back then. But over the last few weeks, I've said so much, people must be so sick of me. But what I have tried to point out, and even at the Awards the other night, and with Music Max and everything like that, that Countdown and the award we got the other night, it was the Countdown Award. As much as I was given it as well, it was the Countdown Award and it was the ABC Award. And it was all of you that award. And I thank you so much for that because you all were so fucking brilliant. That's all I'll say that. As a network, I had come from the OJ network to 7. And I was a bit scared of the ABC. And then I met Michael Children, I was really scared of the fucking ABC. But it was such a team. And the team that we had with Chris and Grant and everyone was one part of it. Over at Ribbon there was the other part of it. With the sound, the lighting, the sets, the just goodwill the cameraman, everyone was a good well that just combined to give it such a show, such a unique show. Even people like Paddy, who's got after security, right? And God bless, you know, Irish, but Scottish Irish. Irish. And every part of it was just so important, you know. And it was really weird because when Countdown was first 6 shows in 74, and then it became 8 with an extension of 2 1-hour shows at the end, is that right? My God, he's agreeing with me. Oh, they should go and have a fucking rehab. He's agreeing with me. And then when Michael rang me and said, well, Meldrum, it was called me Meldrum. People call me Meldrum, especially my mum and that. I knew I was in trouble, so I thought, well, there you go, I was in trouble. When he told me that we were going to do another show in 75, I went, oh, how many? 6? Whatever. He said, no, the entire year. And I wanted a shot, you know. And I thought, well, I don't think we can do that, you know, let alone we're going in colour. But with the genesis of Michael and Robbie, and as I said, with Chris and Grant, to Emery and Paul Drain, it happened. And it happened because we had the amazing team in Horn Street, which was I thought an appropriate name that I had to go to. I'm going to Horn Street. They said, oh, what number are you saying now for God's sake? I said, no, to the Ribbon League, you know. And the other day when I had to go back and do this thing with Mel for the Sunday night show, and sitting in that studio, and you know, obviously I've done Spicks and Specks before that and whatever, but I was able to sit there and when the rest decided to go off and have a cup of coffee, they said, I want you to sit here, and I sat there for at least an hour, reflecting back on what not only just meant to me, but meant to Australian public, Australian music lovers, and all of you here. And all I can say is, thank you for the music, but more so, thank you so much for being you. You're fucking brilliant, and I swear to God, without it or whatever, I'll fight, as a lot of us will now, that the ABC will live on, and Abbott will have nothing to do with it. All right? I showed you, believe it or not, I have to say that, all right?